basement waterproofing on the renovation house. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to show you all about it. Even tell you how much it cost. Coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to the shop, and what I'm going to go over here today is at the renovation house, the basement waterproofing, and this is what you might call a preface to the video of the actual operation and installation of the waterproofing there. Yes, I know it's called preface for all you grammar police out there. I like fooling with words sometimes. This is a little bit of a kind of an introduction to it before I get into the actual video of what went on at the house. There's a couple things that went on that I couldn't really narrate the work as it was being done for a couple of reasons. One is it was very loud. There was a lot of noise. I mean, jackhammers and hammer drills and that type of thing. And the other thing I noticed after I'd already shot the video, and I didn't even think about it when I was doing it as the workers were there was a radio playing, and because that radio had music on it, if I would put that in my video with the soundtrack, I get hit with copyright infringement. So can't do that. One of them YouTube rules. Can't be infringing on copyright even though it's just an ambient noise. I will also start off by saying that the company that I did hire to do the work was Mid-America Basement Systems. They're very reputable. They're highly recommended. They do excellent work. No, they are not the cheapest around. You could get this done for quite a bit less. I chose to not deal with problems. I hate problems. This company's been around a long time. I've been in construction for well over 40 years, so I know what kind of work they do, and that's why I gave them the contract to do this. So, let's get on to the renovation house, show you what some of these things are. Oh, I will also point out that I am not compensated or sponsored by Mid-America Basement Systems at all. This is just my overview of the work they did. So let's get on with it. Yeah, I guess where we're going, we're down in the basement. And a river runs through it, as they say, because we have water down here, and we have lots of water. There's quite a few places where we got water coming in. And right here in front of the electric panel, and I hope the camera focuses on this, yeah, we got a little bit of water coming through the wall there. So I've got some work to do with that. I've already done a lot of cleanup down here. We got water everywhere, but it's not as bad as it was. There are some floor drains, and when we got in here, one of them was plugged up. We've got them opened up now. Another little room back here in the back with a bunch of junk in it. And some broken windows I need to fix. And there was a sink down here. And this is a sump pit. And you can probably hear it, water running in there, because water's running constantly. I don't know what they were thinking of, but this is just like funky here. So that's going to have to get fixed. One time there must have been a laundry sink or something down here, because we got a faucet on the wall. And there is a floor drain under it, and we got that one unclogged, so it's working again. And over here in this corner, I don't really know what's going on there. I think that may have been a washing machine drain at one time, because there is some plumbing up here on the wall. And we got water running in big time in it, but it's going right down the drain. So that part there isn't quite so bad. But anyway, here's what the basement's like. So we got a lot of work to do down here to try to get things dried up. Got some hydraulic cement. We've started fixing holes in the floor and in the walls, but it's just like a never-ending job. Okay, here we are at the renovation house, and we're doing some basement waterproofing. Give you a little bit of a tour inside. Outside right now it's windy. It's also the middle of December and it's almost 70 degrees, which is a record. But we're headed for some nasty weather tonight. Well, we'll go inside and take a look around. So this is phase one. As you can see, they've got a trench cut all the way around inside, around every wall, around the chimney, where it's where we had our little fountain coming up. The white fabric you see on the walls is called clean space, and that prevents any water that could possibly seep through the wall from coming into the living space, and it will drain down into the trench below. We opted to put 2 sump pumps locations in, and actually 2 sump pumps in each one of those locations to have a backup. That way, if one would fail, the other one would take over, and I'll set up an alarm system later on to establish if that ever happens. The trenches you see out here will take this down underground to basically a French drain, and then it'll just bubble up from there. And this is a low spot in the landscape, and it'll be the same thing for the one at the back of the house. So we've got a sump in the front and a sump in the back, and hopefully this will take care of all that water in the basement. Actually, it's guaranteed for life. The company doing this work is called Mid-America Basement Systems, and just in case you're interested and happen to be somewhere where they service, there's their phone number. These little devices you see here on top of the drain pipes are in case that drain pipe should freeze underground, then there's still a place for the water to get out. But as often as this runs, and the amount of water we have here, I don't think that's going to be a problem. It comes out, it goes to this little bubbler guy out here, which then takes it up out of the ground. We have the same thing at the back of the house. Runs out to the same type of drain. Okay, so there was an overview on how everything was done, from jackhammering out the floor all the way around all the walls. There was 240 lineal feet that had to be cut out around all the walls and chimney and all that kind of thing, because there are interior walls there too. If you remember from the earlier videos of when we first got this house, how bad the water was down there. I mean, it was just constantly running, and we had places where it was literally squirting out of the walls, and I would take hydraulic cement and plug that leak, and it would stop that one, and pretty soon another one would come out over here. And as one of my viewers put it, it was like playing whack-a-mole with water leaks. If you know what whack-a-mole is, that's a game the kids play in the arcade. Okay, yeah, if you're from the Midwest, you'll know what this is. If you're not from the Midwest, it's a very good craft beer. It's called Goose Island 312. And I'm not running any power tools, so I deserve it. Okay, a couple questions. The white stuff on the walls, it's called clean space. It's a reinforced vinyl, so to speak, or plastic, or whatever you want to call it. And it prevents any moisture that should migrate through the walls, will run right straight down behind it, and will go into the space between the tile, for lack of a better word, but the stuff that's put into the floor, which accumulates the water, which takes it to the sumps. That can be covered, and in time we're going to be covering it with a product called FRP, which is short for fiberglass reinforced plastic. It's a waterproof wall covering, and you can there's a lot of different ways to put it up. We're going to be putting it up with these anchors that go into the concrete through the clean space and into the concrete, and there will be no chance of any type of water migrating through or any kind of leaks there. The sumps on each end. We opted to have a sump put in at each end of the house. They're very deep, they're very large. They will accommodate 3 pumps. Right now we have a primary and a backup in each one of those pits. There is also an option to put a battery operated backup pump in, which I may do at a later date, or I may just put a battery and inverter down there and use a secondary pump as a backup for that. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do there yet. It literally just stopped the water from squirting up through the floor and out the walls. It just stopped it. So, you know, I couldn't be more pleased with it. Okay, another question is, what did it cost? I'm sure that's, you know, everybody, oh, what did that cost? As I said, there's 240 lineal feet of trench, more or less, for lack of a better word. There's a clean space on all the interior walls there and the exterior walls. There is a sump at each end of the house with 2 outlets and 2 pumps. So no, it wasn't cheap. What did it cost? $24,000. So it's something to think about if you are going to do a project like that. Yes, I know what needed to be done, and yes, I probably could have done it myself if I was 20 years younger. I have no desire at this age to get down there with a jackhammer out of floor, carry all the broken concrete and dirt out in 5-gallon buckets, carry all the gravel back down in 5-gallon buckets, and then mix 50-plus bags of concrete mix to fill all them trenches back in. I have no desire to do that whatsoever. That's why we hired it done, and we hired a reputable company to do it. Once again, I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not compensated by them, but I can't say enough about how great these guys were. Had an excellent crew there, very friendly. They cleaned up everything. I mean, for as clean as you could get that floor. I mean, good grief, it had water on it for who knows how many years. No mud left behind, no debris left behind, nothing left outside. Granted, where they dug the trenches outside for the drains, that's going to need to be landscaped and reseeded and that kind of stuff, but that's to be expected. You're going to have that with anybody. So can't say enough good about the company and the work they did. And this is how the waterproofing went. So hope you got something out of that. If you did, appreciate getting the thumbs up. Always helps the channel. Otherwise, I'm Roger, back in the shop, away from the renovation house for a few days. Got to relax. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.